this workshop is very timely because of, you know, everything that's going on. We all know it's crazy. We all know things have changed. But from a business to business and lead generation point of view, our budgets at the top of the funnel, whether we were spending money at trade shows, we were spending money, you know, getting in foot traffic. A lot of that is funneling to website traffic. And so the reason I thought chatbots are was such a relevant topic and such an exciting topic to talk about is because foot traffic's becoming website traffic. Trade shows are becoming, you know, online lead gen funnels. And, you know, when we bring all of that traffic to our websites, we have one opportunity to turn that visitor into a qualified lead. And chatbots have been around for a while, but one thing I've noticed about chatbots and the ones that I've experienced in different industries is that they're pretty vanilla, and they are just you know, hey, you know, what can we do for you? And they don't have that sales strategy behind the flow of the chatbot. And that's why Dionne, you bring so much good expertise into the strategy of a chatbot flow because of your background in sales and writing sales scripts and working with sales teams. And to bring that expertise from the front line, from the sales team into a chatbot can make chatbots much more effective and can help us make the chatbot do what we want it to do, which is to capture those qualified leads. So let you take it from here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the thing, right? Is, you know, there's the phrase that says a fool with a tool is still a fool, right? So what we want to talk about today is, and I know some of you on here have implemented chatbots or chat on your website, and we'd love to hear from you. If you're not comfortable talking about it, go ahead and put it in the chat. But here's what we're going to cover super fast. We're mindful of everybody's time today. You know, what is the objective of a chatbot, and how do we structure it, and how do we implement it for optimization, right? I think it's interesting. I think we're all aware of when we're being put into a cadence or a sales system, and nobody really cares for it unless it's done really well and the salesperson has some personality, right? We still need that human to human connection. So that's kind of what we want to talk about today. And our focus today is going to be on probably more the mechanics of it. And then we're going to sprinkle in some of that human to human or H to H component as well that we, quite frankly, need to have at the end of the day. Brian, any other thoughts?
That's it. Let's jump in.
Let's do it. So,
all right,
go ahead.
Go for it.
Yeah. So why do we do a chatbot, right? So the name of the game sometimes is speed and velocity, especially if you're in the SaaS business. So years ago, right, not even that many individuals, we as people would go to work to have the latest and greatest technology. As technology, the iPhone, things of that nature have gotten more ubiquitous, now we as humans, for better or worse, have access to the latest and greatest technology at the tip of our hand, right? Right in our fingertips. So with my background, you can't see I was holding my phone. And so, you know, with that is we have a rise of sophistication in our buyers across verticals, across industries. And so we really need to think about why we're doing what we're doing. Why would we put a chat function in our environment? And then what is not only why and what is the purpose, but then how do we go about fulfilling that purpose in a way that isn't a bad process and isn't a bad experience for folks? So what you're seeing from left to right is different ways that you would filter your leads. What does the sales rep need to see? What information does your prospect need to receive? And then don't underestimate this immediate call within 30 minutes. You guys, you can all raise your hand on this, but man alive, if you are doing the work, like Brian was saying, to market to your constituents and your audience in a meaningful way, and somebody raises their hand, fills out a form, does whatever they need to do on your site, and your sales team doesn't call them back, you should take your sales team, have them pull a $20 bill out of their wallet and light it on fire, because that's what's happening. So when we think about our why is to hand off qualified leads to our sales team, right? And conversely to that, and just as important, is having a really positive customer experience. So we have a really good reputation and we have loyal customers at the end of the day. Brian, thoughts?
The only thing I would add is it's the more qualification we can get out of the chatbot flow, out of that lead capture, the easier it is for our sales team to do their job. So as marketers, we need to give our sales team as much ammo as they can for that call. So the more information we extract from the lead, the easier it is for our sales team.
Absolutely. I think that's a fair statement as well, right? Go for it.
Cool.
And so with that too, we want to talk about, there's this old adage that says revenue is king, cash is king. Okay, fine, right? We all know we're in business to make money and we get that. We have a fiduciary responsibility. The other half of that coin, though, is attitude is queen. And those two, when paired appropriately, can make it rain. And so when we're thinking about building a process, and again, we want to build a process and have our salespeople actually test it out first, right? Before we go ahead and automate it with a chatbot. We really want this concept of other-centered communication. So I came across this phrase quite a while ago, but it was really brought to life for me through Aslan Training. So they're an amazing sales training organization, and talking about other-centered communication, meaning if you were to go to your sales team and say, "Hi, sales team, why do you think people buy from us? Why do our customers like us?" If your sales team's answer starts with, because we are so awesome, this company, our company, we do X, Y, Z, that isn't the best way to start it. That is not other-centered communication. What you want to hear from your sales team is our customers buy from us, our customers love us because they get value. Something along those lines. So that's the difference. We're not starting with the we are awesome. We're starting with that our customers are awesome because they get this from our platform. Brian, anything to add to that?
No, it segues into the next step, which is building that client profile and staying, why don't you just continue with this and then I'll jump in actually.
Yeah. And so once we understand the messaging, right, and there's nothing wrong with starting with, we do XYZ really well, right? So we definitely want to know what our strengths are as an organization. We want to be able to cascade that out, though, to understand we do XYZ really well, and here's how it benefits our customers. Once you start building that, then you flip it, right? Our customers really enjoy this platform or this feature because it enables them to, right? And so once you kind of build out some of those phrases, right, then you're going to start ticking and tying down into your client profile, and you might have more than one for your business. Some organizations are an SMB, some are enterprise, some are B2C, some are B2B. So really understanding what that looks like at the end of the day. And here are 6 components of that would go into your client profile. So we are recording this webinar. You will have access to it. I'm not going to read through these. You might have additional assets or facets that go into your client profile. This is a good place to start, though, especially 5 and 6. Right? So the first 4 probably aren't going to change that much, or if they do, they might be a slow mover, but 5 and 6 are pain points, right? If you're in cybersecurity, the minute somebody has a data breach, your phone is ringing off the hook, guarantee it, right? So those are some of the components when we think about triggers, when we think about different pain points, right? So maybe an organization is trying to swim upstream, or maybe they're trying to enhance or grow their revenue. Right? So as we are building our chatbot scripts and having that cascade through our sales process, we want to make sure we're incorporating our client profile and cascading different questions and talking points throughout our script, chats, things of that nature. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, for those of you, I hope you're catching on. This is the juiciest part of our chatbot strategy that Dionne and I are sharing with you. It's that other-centered communication of designing a flow that is based on what your lead is experiencing is what is going to change the success rate of your chatbot. It's like you said, Dionne, if your salesperson jumps on the phone and just says, we do this, we are great, we are, this is why we are amazing, but fails to ask the customer, what are your pain points? What keeps you up at night? You're failing to capture the information that you need to make them understand the value proposition. So let's continue with that other-centered communication. So the flow that you create for your chatbot must match that lead's purchase intent. And we need to understand that when this person comes onto our website, they're there for a specific reason. And we can start to plan according to the different reasons that our different types of visitors are going to be experiencing while they're on our website. And one of the ways that I map this out personally is through what's called the consumer purchase process. And these are 5 steps that all consumers go through when making a purchase, whether it's in cybersecurity or healthcare software solutions or financial services or recruiting. Everyone who is going to make a purchase is going to go through this process. But they're always going to start with some type of need recognition. It's that trigger. There's going to be a gap that they need to fill or a void that they need to fill or a problem that's pressing them so hard, maybe it's costing them time and money that they want to fix. And once they have that need, they're going to start to go on this information search to find a solution to their problem. So maybe they're going to go on Google and search, I need to hire a CTO for my company. What's the best recruitment firm for CTOs in healthcare? Maybe they're going to do some type of query online for that. Yeah. Or they're, in the past, people used to go to trade shows. And trade shows is such a great example because trade shows are now happening virtually. So when you think about it, if you were to set up a booth at a trade show, prospects were walking around the exhibit floor, coming up to you, asking you questions about your services. Well, this chatbot is replacing your trade show booth. So, when they come to your website, in this consumer purchase process, they're trying to get answers, they're trying to become knowledgeable. Maybe they want to see a demo of your product if it's a SaaS product, etc. Then they're going to evaluate the different alternatives of the different types of service providers that they can choose from. They're going to make a purchase and they're going to have some post-purchase dissonance. So we need to stay focused on the first 3 steps, that trigger, that information search, and the evaluation of alternatives. Because those 3 steps that our consumer goes through has to be mirrored in our chatbot flow. So here's an example of a funnel where we have traffic coming in from search and social. Maybe we're doing some content marketing. We're doing some partner email blasts. Maybe we have a strategic partner sending out some information for us. That traffic is all getting funneled into a landing page. On that landing page is where the chatbot's going to live. That is the opportunity to take that visitor and turn them into a lead that's qualified. Yeah. And from the chatbot, it can go to a demo, it can go to from there to a sale. And whatever your funnel is, map it out, understand where your chatbot's going to be. Also note that continue with that leads information. Tag them in your CRM, do your retargeting to them based on some of the things they say in their chatbot. So here's a quick example as we dive further into this, on how the flow would work in the funnel. So this is actually a personal query that I did. I needed to, I invented this box right here for storing mushrooms. It's a new product, right? And I needed to 3D print my first batch of 50 of them. So I looked up 3D print farms on Google, and some of the ads that came up. And here's one of them that came up, which is this company called Xometry. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but they do all types of manufacturing products and plastics and metals. But when you click on the ad for a 3D print farm in Los Angeles, it takes you to their page specifically for 3D printing services, which is great, right? They're mirroring my explicit search query on their landing page. And then the chatbot pops up, and the chatbot asks, how can I help? Here you can see the chatbot asks, how can I help you? And they use this chatbot that has buttons. And so they give you choices to choose from. You can you can build your chatbot with buttons and give the person choices, or there are more complex chatbots where you can let people free write their answers, and based on some of the words in their answers, you can funnel that person into different ways.
Yeah.
So here you can see it's just a very basic chatbot where they said, how can we help you? Are you, you can see in the beginning they asked, are you new, or is this something about an existing order, which is a fail because I'm new here. This is my first time on the site. I clicked on their ad. So it really should have been focused on my first order. They should have known that I don't have an existing order, and you can map that out in your chatbot. And then they just funneled me to scheduling a one-on-one consultation so they could see what my design was and take me down the sales process. So any thoughts on the consumer purchase process or funnel, or do you want to dive even further into creating the flow, Dionne?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple things to consider too, is when you're designing your chatbot, again, start with the end in mind, which is, and depending on which platform you choose, and there's so many out there, right, is sometimes what we miss is making sure our chatbot language and experience mirrors the values we have as a company, right? So I can't tell you the amount of times where, even as a practitioner or now as a consultant, I would be talking with a group of folks and talking with an executive and a sales team, and I would say, hey, what's your company mission statement? And there are deer in the headlight looks because it is forgotten. And organizations and executives typically spend quite a bit of time, effort, and money on creating a mission, vision, values for an organization. And so sometimes there's a gap between the company mission, vision, value and the sales team, right? Because the sales team is being mushed for a number. And so what we need to make sure we're doing is harmonizing the mush for a number with an experience, right? If you are in the business of transactions, that is fine. Then what you want to be able to do is make sure you're mirroring the experience people have, the first experience people have with you 9 times out of 10 on your chatbot, with what your company culture is, right? So if you're an organization that is doing transactional sales, you're moving fast, so on and so forth, awesome, do that, right? If you're an organization that maybe has a little bit more consultative approach, do that, right? But you want to make sure the experience, both from what are questions being asked, like Brian was saying, as well as the how fast are you moving, right? They need to kind of mirror each other at the end of the day. And, our world is going significantly quicker. And if somebody's coming to your website, chances are they have a question and they want it answered in the speed of now. And so that's where being able to slow down to speed up here really packs a punch for you. So what you're looking at here is creating that chatbot flow. So you might want to break it down into 3 working sessions. What works for your team? Can you capture that? Test drive it on some of your clients with your sales team. Then you're going to go ahead and put it into your chatbot platform. So what you're looking at here is a conversation tree as far as say this first. And if you get a yes, no, right? So it's kind of a choose your own adventure at the end of the day, recognizing that our word choice matters, right? So I don't know about all of you, but right now there are some things that I'm calling to request refunds on, right? I had signed up my kids for a summer jump pass at a local trampoline park. Well, I need a refund. Their message was, monies have been credited to your account, not credit card, right? So when we're thinking about our chatbot, just like Brian was saying, we want to be very mindful of what is the goal, what is the purpose, what words are we using at the end of the day. So that's why when you're thinking about creating your process, breaking it down into 3 working sessions is always a good idea. And they can be 3 working sessions 3 days in a row, but you want to sit down and walk through what would that conversation look like. You want to test drive it, and then you want to put it into place, and then you want to set some time on your calendar for about 30 days out to do some retrospective on that verbiage and see if it's working for you. Brian, anything to add?
Yeah, can you give us an example? One person on our call is Pankaj. Oops, go back. He does retirement planning services and works with companies at large to set up some of the benefits plans for their employees. So how would you start this conversation tree map in that context?
Yeah, so without knowing a lot of the specifics, I would start with, there's probably 2 or 3 things that your net new prospects would be interested in, right? And this, I'm a fan of assumptive selling, meaning if you're going to go to some of your prospects, or maybe they come to your website with a chatbot, and it's super simple, right? It's a yes, no component of, do you already have a plan in place? Yes. Are you looking to benchmark your current plan against a new plan? Yes or no? And then maybe it's if you're not looking to benchmark, then you would say, what are you looking to accomplish today? Are you looking for a net new plan? Yes or no? If it's yes, great, we can go ahead and book you. No, okay, well, here are the top 3 reasons people typically come and chat with us. What are the top 3? Pick your top 3, or talk with a representative. So you kind of want to, again, this is where that other-centered communication comes in, is trying to put yourself in the shoes and seat of the person that's coming to you. Right. And so this is where you really want a lot of that experience and a lot of those examples. People typically come to us and these are their questions. Great. That's your chatbot flow. Don't over-engineer it. Make it simple for folks though too.
Wow, that was super impressive on the fly. Very nice.
We try.
So from your conversation tree map is when you plug it into your chatbot technology that you're using. So there's many chatbot service providers out there. Then you start building your nodes like this, and you connect them where you input your scripts. This specific flow that you see here is one that I created using a chatbot that gives those buttons as options. And with each question, it actually just takes them to the next question to understand more information about what industry they're looking to use this specific service for, and what were some of the needs that they specifically had, and then to schedule them to a demo. So it's really easy, because once you map out your conversation tree like Dionne showed you, you're really just copy and pasting it into your chatbot technology.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the other component here is, how are you determining success of your chatbot implementation? Is it lead conversion? Is it number of net new? Are you building a database, right? If you're a new company, maybe your whole goal for the first 3 months is to build a database, right? And then your next goal is to get leads or book demos, right? Do some market research, market validation. And then maybe your next 3 months is the sales cycle, right? So I think that's an important thing to consider here too. And that will definitely change your questions and your communication as well. For those of you that are in an established company, so Heather, I know that you've got some, you guys are using chat on your website and your team is doing it. And sometimes it's a matter of, making sure we want to get their name first and their email address, maybe their phone number if we're lucky, but definitely name and email. Maybe they're already in your CRM system, right? So, and then is it lead conversion? And then of course, how does that lead perform through the entirety of the sales process? I want to caution everybody, this notion of ROI on my SDR, BDR team. We need to make sure we're looking at the ROI of and I don't mean to say this in a clinical way, but more from a vernacular component, is we need to make sure we're looking at our lead through the funnel, right? From beginning to end, and where is our ROI? So we need to make sure that we're looking at the entire picture, not just the lead qual team or lead generation team. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I thought we could talk about this a little bit further if you wanted to, but you hit it on the head. We were prepared to come in and talk about Correo, but is there anything else you wanted to add about their chatbot or their thoughts there? Or I think
Yeah, Heather, anything you want to add? We're all ears. I just have to say, Heather and I have known each other for years, and she's leading the team over there at Correo and doing a fantastic job. And as an organization, they implemented chat, and her team was taking it on and just really, really mindful of the process, the metrics, the words, and really the words and the verbiage at the end of the day. So, Heather, anything to add? We can put it in the Q&A or anything along those lines. I know it's sometimes a little tricky, so we're all ears. But yeah, so I think when you're going through it is being able to recognize it's an iterative process you want to test and measure.
Nice. And let me just go back.
Yeah, so Heather,
just a couple last, as we kind of bring this all together and bring this in full circle, just a couple last thoughts I wanted to add were to remember that chatbots are always iterating, just like you're iterating your ad campaigns at the top of your funnel. You can be iterating your script and measuring what's most responsive and keep improving. And another idea that I came across was to start building out that funnel was to work with your team to think about what were some of the top 5 most frequently asked questions that your sales team had on the front line. And that might be a good way to create that conversation tree map as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think the chatbot you showed, Brian, said go to the knowledge base. And I don't know about all of you, but every time I hear that, there's a part of my heart that just sinks a little bit. Because I feel like knowledge bases are so big and it's this maze and so on and so forth. So I think being able to give folks a guided tour in some way, shape, fashion, or form is always a good idea.
Yeah. Let's see. Other than that, I think we're there on our time. Do you have any? Do you want to just quickly bring us down into that full circle with that call, and then we can close it?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we think about a call, whether we're doing a chatbot or whether we're having our reps on the phone, whether you've got a BDR, SDR, inside sales, account exec, or even in-person field sales, which might now all be inside sales folks, we want to make sure we're following a conversation flow at the end of the day. So just like we were talking about having your ideal client profile, we always do our pre-call planning. We never, ever, 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 ever wing a phone call, email, nothing, right? Please don't wing it, do your homework. And then we think about an opener, we think about different questions to guide the conversation. And then we think about an effective close and making that short, sweet, and to the point and very specific. The, hey, I'll follow up with you is really generic. We want to be able to train ourselves and our sales team, and this is where it cascades to our verbiage, is we want to be able to train ourselves to say, I will follow up with you within 24 hours. Be specific. And then state the obvious and state it at the end of the day. We've really gotten away from that as a sales profession. And it serves us all well to have that loop of accountability, and then make sure you're following up. The fortune is in the follow-up. And from a sales perspective, that's our job. So we want to make sure we're doing that and doing that well in a pleasant way. So the anatomy of a call, I should probably put this in a circle because it just keeps going at the end of the day in a pleasant way. But yeah.
Super. So, just some next steps, proper planning prevents poor performance. Create your chatbot flow, really think through what the outcome of that chatbot is going to be, work your way backwards, and make sure that you're focusing on that other-centered communication, and bring your sales team, bring your sales outlook into the creation of that flow.
Yeah, absolutely. The more the merrier. And again, recognize that it's iterative, and you might want to do a 30, 60, 90-day plan. And then after that, you might want to do, incremental 90-day plans. So really spend the time to think about the why and the purpose and how you're going to execute against it, determine your success metrics, have that shared vision, the shared hill for everybody to climb. That makes it really exciting for everybody.
Cool. So Dionne, you are such a blessing. I always learn something amazing whenever I have the opportunity to speak with you. And I even took notes while you were talking on this workshop. So I hope everyone, I hope everyone moves fast on this. You can have your chatbot up and running on your website very fast. And if you have any questions, Dionne is I call her the sales sensei. Her information's here. My information's also listed. I'm glad to share more information with you on both of us. And thank you very much for taking the time out of your schedules to be with us. We hope this was valuable. And any other goodbye words?
No, thank you for joining. Make it a great day. And please reach out to Brian or I if you have any questions or want to talk through anything. We're happy to do it. So have a great day. Thanks.
Thank you.